Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Joseph Lopez. Let's take a look at the headlines. The Prime Minister flies to Venezuela to attend Hugo Chávez's funeral. Local government reform long overdue, says the local government minister. The European Union distributed the final grant to this country under a special recovery program. We begin with word that Prime Minister Kamla Bissessar has left Trinidad and Tobago for Venezuela. Mrs. Bissessar is expected to attend the state funeral service of President Hugo Chávez. The Prime Minister yesterday, while accompanied by members of a diplomatic corps, including Housing Minister Dr. Rudal Munilal, wrote her thoughts and sympathies in a condolences book located at the Venezuelan embassy here in Port of Spain, Trinidad. The Prime Minister expressed deep condolences to Chávez's family and the people of Venezuela on his passing. 7 days of mourning have been declared in Venezuela. Meanwhile, schools, universities and other institutions will be closed so Venezuelans can pay their respects. In her absence, Labour Minister Errol McLeod will act as Prime Minister. And in other news, Minister of Local Government, Dr. the Honourable Suraj Ratan Rambajan, says the matter of local government reform is long overdue, although there are still those who argue that local government is not necessary and that the work of local government can be adequately done by central government.
I beg to disagree and to quickly point out that real people government is in fact local government. Local government is the finest example of a working democracy, a participatory democracy, and in addition provides a most important avenue for citizens to contribute meaningfully in the development of their local communities.
The minister says that local government brings the citizens closer to government and gives them an opportunity to affect the quality of governance. Minister Rambachan says that citizens must have the right to determine their destiny and underscores it is a right that must not be taken away from them.
Centralization of government always has the risk of creating physical and psychological distance from both government and governance, a result that is politically and socially challenging. In my view, it is local government that closes the gap between central government and the people.
Minister Rambajan says there are those who feel that the Municipal Corporations Act is inadequate. He argues that the strength of the Act suffers because of a lack of implementation.
If you read the Act very carefully, it is in fact a particularly good piece of legislation. But we so often fail at the level of local government in terms of implementing the provisions of the Act. I make this point because at the end of the day, it is the will to implement which will make the difference between transformation or the maintenance of the status quo.
The Minister of Local Government says one of the objectives of the modernization and transformation exercise is to achieve at least 3 of the following things. 1. The delivery of better quality services of people in the country. 2. To facilitate the building of better communities. And 3. To facilitate the building of stronger councils. More finances are to be invested in the agriculture sector to see its continued growth following the closure of Caroni 1975 Limited. This as the European Union disbursed its final grant to this country under a special recovery program.
Trinidad and Tobago has received a total of 43.3 million euros or TT $350 million in grant resources to support this country's exit from the sugar industry. Recently, the Ministry of Planning and Sustainable Development received the final disbursement of 9.8 million euros or 80.3 million TT dollars from the European Union under its Sugar Protocol Countries program. The money is deposited in the country's consolidated fund, and the government determines how the funds are to be utilized in the context of the national objectives to minimize the socio-economic and environmental impact following the closure of Caroni 1975 Limited and to promote the diversification of the economy.
The Ministry of Planning and Sustainable Development, as the Permanent Secretary indicated, is the national authorizing body for collaboration with the European Union, which is why we are playing this role here today. This ministry facilitates technical assistance exchanges to support sustainable development goals of the country. The European Union is one of our long-standing development partners and has been very supportive of the government's development agenda over the years. I would like especially to express my gratitude to the European Union delegation to Trinidad and Tobago for their unwavering support and guidance over the years, which have assisted us to achieve this milestone today. This relationship does not end with this handover, but continues in another phase as the multi-annual indicative program 2011-13 is pursued. An indicative allocation of 31.7 million, as the Charge d'Affaires told you, is at present being finalized. The present leaders of the European Union delegation have been very supportive of the development objectives of the government of Trinidad and Tobago, and we want to thank them for their continuing interest and support.
There have been several major achievements and significant progress made using the funding gained from the European Union, which include $82 million in payments to more than 3,000 cane farmers as transitional support, the issuance of agricultural leases to former Caroni employees, and the regularization of the status of farmers squatting on Caroni lands. Other achievements include compensation to 9,000 former employees of Caroni, construction of access roads for 17 agricultural estates and 28 subdivisions, revision of the Agricultural Incentive Program, execution of training programs for approximately 2,500 farmers, establishment of 4 mega farms on lands formerly owned by Caroni 1975 Limited, and the drafting of an environmental stability plan to address the environmental concerns related to the agricultural, residential, and industrial areas formerly under Caroni 1975 Limited. The program commenced in 2008, and the government had to satisfy several performance indicators along the way to reach the latest milestone. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
After the break, protection for turtles and turtle nesting. Stay with us. Welcome back. Trinidad and Tobago does not have to worry about losing its heritage, especially that of traditional carnival. This as all participants of the Prime Minister's Best Village Trophy Competition's Traditions of Carnival segment are said to have done extremely well.
Winners of the Traditions of Carnival component of the Prime Minister's Best Village Trophy competition received their earnings during a special cash prize distribution at the Adult Education Centre, St. Anne's. The competition was added to the Best Village competition in 2003 as a way of preserving the traditional aspects of our carnival. Over 90 groups are said to have participated in the competition this year, which is evident of its growth. According to Acting Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Community Development, Ms. Dana Ferraz, there are many ways for persons to benefit from their talents under the Best Village Trophy competition.
We at the Ministry provide a range of programs and services outside of the Best Village Trophy competition to support you as individuals and as communities. This means that now, more than ever, you have the chance to make a viable living from your talents and your interests. From handicraft to skill development, it will fulfill our ministry's vision of a transformed community sector which is proactive and a self-reliant contributor to national development. We are talking about, in terms of the Best Village context, to find new ways of using your talent in your respective art form. Get involved in the recording industry. See what opportunities await you in film and television. We know that the Film Company of Trinidad and Tobago is anxious to work with communities, and we are at this point trying to work out a project with them where they want to share their learnings with young people in the communities. And this might be a way to take some aspect of the competition forward into a new realm. Explore too the budding field of fashion industry. Not only could you find that it might be a way to make some extra income, but as well you can contribute to the costuming aspect of your communities as you take part in the competition.
The winners all received their prizes and are expected to be preparing for the next installment of the competition. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
Policies are being put in place to provide greater protection to turtles and turtle nesting beaches. This assurance comes from Minister of the Environment and Water Resources, Senator the Honorable Ganga Singh.
Turtles, magnificent creatures whose sluggish appearances on land belie their grace in the water. These enthralling endangered creatures come to our shores every year to lay eggs with the hope that their offspring survive and make it back to the ocean to carry on the species. Minister of the Environment, Senator Ganga Singh, says this country has a responsibility to the world to ensure the safety of these endangered animals.
We in Trinidad and Tobago have the responsibility of local stewardship for a global environmental asset, sea turtles. As a result, this country has gained the envious reputation worldwide as a foremost destination for these endangered migratory species. With this reputation also comes great responsibility, as the future of these very species rests in our hands, that is, to afford them protection whilst in our territory. Local stewardship for a global asset.
The government has recognized the responsibility and is now considering labeling the turtles and the beaches they nest on as environmentally sensitive. This would afford turtles greater protection under the law.
In general, all sea turtles are classified as critically endangered or vulnerable on the World Conservation Union Red List of Threatened Species. In this regard, I am pleased to announce that the EMA, and we have Dr. Jyot Singh here, is proceeding with the process of designating our 5 species of marine turtles, loggerhead, green, leatherback, olive ridley, and hawksbill turtles as environmentally sensitive species. Consideration is also being given to designating emerging or re-emerging turtle nesting beaches as environmentally sensitive areas. The Manzanilla Beach, for example, is becoming a significant turtle nesting beach for leatherback turtles and is being considered by the EMA for environmentally sensitive area designation.
Minister Singh has also announced plans for a national sea turtle conservation project.
I am pleased to announce that my ministry, through the Green Fund, has approved funding of $29,711,000 for the National Sea Turtle Conservation Project over the next 4 years. This project would encompass data collection and research on 28 beaches in both Trinidad and Tobago, provide offshore data quantifying residents and trends amongst foraging stocks. This, I understand, would form the basis for the development of beach management plans. Another critical intervention of this project is education and awareness, as well as building capacity of community conservation groups through training at the training center, which would be established here. The project also proposes that Trinidad and Tobago host the International Sea Turtle Symposium in 2015, which I fully endorse.
The Environment Minister says plans are being proposed to have other indigenous fauna and even flora protected by law.
I would also like to underscore that both the Forest and Protected Areas policies propose the establishment of a new institutional arrangement for forested and protected areas management. The Forest and Protected Areas Management Authority will be responsible for coordinating the implementation of these policies, and it is a work in progress in collaboration with the stakeholders. This consideration of both a national and international framework forms a robust foundation for the future protection of our indigenous flora and fauna.
Gregory McBurney, News 4.
Up next, Rally Trinidad 2013 is launched. Stay with us. Welcome back. Rally Trinidad 2013 is the marquee event of the Trinidad and Tobago Rally Club's 8-event championship series. The high-speed all-gravel stage rally promises to be a very competitive affair, with top drivers from the region expected to participate. Wayne Cunningham has more from the launch of Rally Trinidad 2013.
The Ministry of Sport has partnered with the Trinidad and Tobago Rally Club for its signature event of the rallying calendar, Rally Trinidad 2013. A continuing partnership, according to Robert K. Dees, Vice President of the Trinidad and Tobago Rally Club.
I know the Honourable Minister would have liked to be here tonight. He sends his apologies. He had some urgent business to attend to. But the Ministry of Sport, you don't often see them. They are very much behind the scenes. But the Ministry of Sport has been on board with Rally Trinidad for many years. And they really have helped us propel this sport to what you saw in the first couple of slides of the days of the old 120Ys and Zephyrs and Volkswagens and whatnot, to what we've been able to do in the infrastructure we've been able to build this sport with. So thank you very much to the Ministry of Sport.
The official program kicks off on March 20th with a scrutineering stage, but the real action begins 2 days later at the Hazley Crawford Stadium.
The rally really starts on the Friday night. The Friday night is what everyone knows to be the opening ceremony and Rally Trinidad's launch in the National Stadium, or the Hazley Crawford Stadium, sorry. This is what many spectators typically look forward to. They get to see the cars sort of, you know, I wouldn't say speeding, but driving very, auspiciously fast around the stadium, putting on a real show in front of the spectators, with the spectator area being in between the Jean Pay complex and the National Stadium. The cars will be on show in the Jean Pay complex, the netball court from 3 p.m. The entrance fee is $40. Kids under 12 are free. This is one event that you really do not want to miss. It's very easy to get to. And the stages will start at approximately 7 p.m. and we'll be out of there by 10 p.m. The beauty about Rally Trinidad is that it is the one event of our 8-event series for the year that a number of foreign competitors come in. We usually are able to attract the best of the Caribbean region to do battle with the best of what Trinidad has to offer. So it's almost like a bragging rights for the Caribbean region of sort, going with Rally Barbados, as you know, and also Rally Jamaica.
The entry list comprises the best of Trinidad and Tobago, along with some of the top names in the Caribbean, according to Mr. K. Dees.
The most competitive class of cars to watch, I believe, is going to be the Group N and Group A. The number 7 and 8, respectively. And over the last year, a number of these drivers have really been, the competition has been extremely stiff. One driver to look out for definitely is James Betts from Barbados. James Betts is in Group A, he drives a Mitsubishi Evolution 5, and he has really been putting down some great times, winning a lot of stages this last year. He's going to be one to look out for.
Mr. K. Dees also unveiled a new venue for the final stage, which is heartening news for all.
One of the most exciting new areas of Rally Trinidad this year is that we will be closing in the Taruba Stadium car park. Yes, I know many of you just heard Taruba Stadium and thinking, but that place ain't finished yet. Well, the good news is the place is almost finished, and the better news is the car park area is the perfect setting for what we believe is going to be the absolute greatest end to a Rally Trinidad. Right after the Jack and Jill stage, we head down to Taruba, and we will have 2 competitors not racing wheel to wheel, but racing head to head, doing the same course, and what should be an epic finish.
Rally Trinidad 2013, March 22nd to the 24th. Wayne Cunningham, News 4 Sports.
When we return, farmers have something to celebrate. We tell what when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back. The cries of farmers in Trinidad and Tobago have been answered by the Ministry of Food Production, as there is now a greater platform for their concerns to be heard and addressed.
The Ministry of Food Production is putting farmers first, as it has embarked on the Farmers Outreach Program. The program is expected to reach and cater to the needs of a greater number of farmers in Trinidad and Tobago through a site visit approach. This means that farmers will no longer have to leave their farms to visit the ministry's offices if they wish to access services of the ministry and to voice concerns. The program was launched at Solomon's Temple in the farming community of Wallerfield, where the issues of land leases were addressed.
There are in fact farmers, some here and many parts of the country, leases have been expired for some 30 odd years. And for some unknown reasons, these various leases from farmers have been left unattended to. And with the Minister of Food Production and his vision to take agriculture forward and to move food production into the 21st century, and with the government drive towards reducing our food import bill, we felt in the ministry that it is necessary to engage the farmers on a personal basis. Rather than farmers coming to the offices to look to see where the officers are and to determine whether or not their file exists and whether or not we can find the file, we felt that it is necessary to bring the office of the Ministry of Agriculture to the farmers. And this is why we are here today.
Minister of Food Production, Senator the Honorable Devan Maharaj, listed several major issues that face farmers in Trinidad and Tobago. These include issues surrounding land leases and tenureship, access roads and bridges, predial larceny, price of labor, and marketing of goods.
Last week at the meeting here in Solomon Temple, and reporting subsequently to the heads of division, between Minister Simongal and myself, we decided to start this program. And as it started to evolve, as we discussed it more and more with the ministry staff, we decided that this could not be only for Wallerfield, given the fact that the problems are national in scope. And so immediately we decided to brand it as Partnership in Agriculture, one-on-one with the farmer, whereby we will bring persons from the land management division here, persons from the engineering division, persons from all the relevant departments in the ministry. So whereas the farmer doesn't have to go to the ministry or the extension office and take up his time far away from his home, but more or less the ministry services comes to the farming community, and you'll be able to benefit and be inconvenienced as little as possible.
The Honourable Minister listed some of the other significant strides under the Ministry of Food Production.
We have rehabilitated and built more roads in the last 2 years than the last 5 years combined. We have built more ponds than the last 5 years combined. We have delivered more land into active production than the last 10 years combined. We have invested in NAMDEVCO heavily, and will be continuing to invest in NAMDEVCO. They have turned the sod at Brecken Castle about 2 weeks ago to have one of 5 packing houses, and those packing houses will augment and support and buttress the efforts of the farming community, as they now have a place to look forward to for their produce. We have established strategic linkages with the school feeding program. So now what they want and what the farmer have will make that easy connection. The ADB, as you know, slashed its rates by over 50% in some cases, so financing of agriculture is becoming much, much more affordable to the farmer. And only today on one of the daily newspapers, you would have seen that agriculture, there was a significant drop in terms of inflation as it pertains to food inflation. It dropped from 29.5%, I believe, down to approximately 22%. And this is in large part due to the efforts of some of the initiatives of the Ministry of Food Production for the last 2.5 years.
Minister Maharaj urged the residents and the national community to be patient with the ministry as it is working towards correcting the wrongs of the past. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
And that story brings us to the end of our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Joseph Lopez. Thank you for watching.